Is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm never. You know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that.
Is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in? No. And I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never. You know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker __ like that. Yo, looks like 50 Cent just lit a match, man, to something way, way deeper than the usual rap drama we see. What he just dropped, it might finally truly explain why his beef with Jay Prince and Supreme McGriff circle runs so much deeper than we ever thought. And trust me, man, this ain't just about music anymore. It ain't about petty ego stuff. What 50's hinting at, it sounds way more serious, like life or death serious. At first, yeah, folks thought it was just another one of those ego battles, 50 refusing to check in, right? And Jay Prince feeling played, feeling disrespected, but nah, man. 50 is now claiming there was an actual plot to take him out. And this ain't just vague talk, you hear? He's calling people out by name. The real shocker? Supreme McGriff's own son. Supreme's own son might be in on it. And if that ain't wild enough, man, Rick Ross? Yeah, Rick Ross might be tied up in this mess too. Imagine that, linking up with 50's longtime bitter enemies just to keep that drama alive, just to keep that tension going. Now that 50 is connecting the dots, man, connecting the dots between Jay Prince, connecting the dots to Supreme's legacy and all these quiet backdoor moves he's seen, the whole picture, it's getting scary clear. Could this be the real reason why 50 suddenly abruptly backed out of Houston? Like, was something deadly brewing behind the curtains that we didn't even know about? You know the reason, but what is the reason why you moved to Houston and everything? Well, look, first of all, like, every time I've experienced Houston, like when I was out here, I ran into random acts of kindness. Like, the people have been good to me, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of the places that I'm like, man, or maybe Houston, like Houston or Miami popped into my head. They said 58%. I said, what, you my partner? The IRS is my partner now? I don't know. All you get is a Yankee hat. I'm going to Houston. Let's rewind for a second, right? Everything started down in Houston. That's Jay Prince's turf, no doubt about it. He's got that whole city on lock like it's his own kingdom. When rappers pull up, right, they're expected to check in. It's supposed to be a sign of respect. But honestly, to a lot of folks, it sounds like a soft threat, right? Play by the rules or face the heat. And crazy enough, man, people have been getting caught up even after checking in. Is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in? No? And I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never, you know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker __ like that.
Know the reason, but what is the reason why you moved to Houston and everything?
Well, look, first of all, like every time I've experienced Houston, like when I was out here, I ran into random acts of kindness. Like the people have been good to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the places that I'm like, man, or maybe Houston, like Houston or Miami popped into my head. Mm-hmm. They said 58%. I said, what? You my partner? The IRS is my partner now? Oh no. All you get is a Yankee hat? I'm going to Houston.
So, when 50 Cent made the move to Houston, Jay Prince expected him to play ball, expected him to follow the protocol, but 50, he wasn't having it, not one bit. He flat out refused to check in, said he didn't owe nobody nothing. He got his own security, man, he got his own bread, and he ain't following no street code that he don't respect. That move right there, straight disrespect in Jay Prince's eyes. And here's the kicker, man. 50 wasn't just visiting the city for a weekend. Nah, he straight up relocated, said it loud on Twitter. I love New York, but I live in Houston now. Most folks figured it was about the tax break. And sure, yeah, that adds up, right? New York taxes, yeah, they're wild, and 50 Cent's all about that business grind. But this move to Houston, it wasn't just about saving coins, man. He had big plans lined up. We're talking a $20 million G-Unit empire in the South. Movies, music studios, liquor deals, and even giving back to schools and local communities. He was setting up shop, like a real boss, a major player. But here's where it got messy, see? He was doing all that right on Jay Prince's turf. And not once, not one time did he check in. No heads up, no permission, no nod. To the so-called shot callers of the city, straight disrespect in their eyes. And when someone walks in swinging like that, man, yeah, the streets take notice. Fast. The whispers started flying almost instantly. Word was, man, that doors were being slammed shut behind the scenes. Folks claimed 50 was being watched, his movements tracked. Some even said certain crews were just waiting, man, hoping he'd mess up, just hoping he'd slip up so they could pounce. But 50, he didn't flinch, man, he doubled down. In his eyes, all this check-in talk, it was just a sugar-coated word for extortion. That's what 50 saw, extortion. And honestly, he might have had a point, man, because look at the history, look at the examples. Takeoff, he checked in, right? Still didn't make it out. Jacob the jeweler got pressed. XXXTentacion tried to stay off the radar, still got caught lacking. So 50's thinking, man, why pay for protection? Protection that don't even protect, right? It was smoke and mirrors, fake security wrapped in fear. And when you've been through what 50's been through, man, you don't spook easy.
Is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never. You know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that.
Today, we have the honor of saying to him, he's our 2022 Grand Marshal. Give it up to Curtis 50 Jackson.
Nigga like 50, there's only 4 niggas that I know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50, E-Money Bags, Homo, and Big Nose Troy.
Then out of nowhere, man, the whole vibe flipped, quietly, without much noise. 50 started backing out of Houston. The big studio project? Canceled. Everything got shifted. To Shreveport, Louisiana instead. No major announcements, just a silent exit. That said everything. Fans were shook, man. Houston even gave him a literal key to the city. Today, we have the honor of saying to him he's our 2022 Grand Marshal. Give it up to Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. So why bounce now, man? Why pull the plug when everything was lining up? The answer? It slid out. Low-key during an interview. And what he said next, man, it changed the whole narrative. Houston didn't embrace me the way I expected. That one line from 50 said it all, man. The energy shifted. He didn't feel secure anymore. He didn't feel safe. And when a dude like 50, man, a dude like 50 starts watching his back, in a city that once showed him love, you know something's off. You know something's not right. Thing is, he was still being honored, man, at the same time. They made him Grand Marshal at the Thanksgiving Day Parade. They gave him his own day. November 24th was officially 50 Cent Day in Houston. The mayor was praising him. The people were applauding. The whole city seemed to be rolling out the red carpet. Well, almost the whole city. Because one person wasn't clapping. One person was heated, man. Jay Prince. Word behind the scenes, Jay wasn't just annoyed, he was heated, man. From his point of view, 50 was strolling through H-Town with power, with respect, and the spotlight, all without bowing to the street hierarchy. No check-in, no salute, just raw dominance. And in Jay's world, that wasn't about clout anymore, man. That was a straight challenge to his control. But just when it looked like the smoke was dying down, man, another name started circling the block. If you know 50's history, man, you know this name ain't just a footnote, it's personal. Way back in the early 2000s, man, 50 got hit 9 times, 9 shots. And street talk? Man, it has always pointed towards Supreme McGriff's crew being involved. That's the same stretch of time, man. 50 dropped Ghetto Koran, a track where he went deep. Name-dropping Queen street legends, putting info out there. Supreme was on that list. Now, in the streets, man, that track, it wasn't viewed as just music, you hear? That was straight up labeled snitching, and Supreme, man, he didn't take that lightly. Not long after 50 got sprayed, 9 times, but he survived, man, he survived. Blew up, flipped that pain into platinum. He told his story, man, in tracks, interviews, movies, turned a near-death moment into a money machine. Meanwhile, Supreme caught a life sentence, but through it all, man, he kept quiet, never flipped. And in the code of the streets, that earned him serious respect. But deep down, man, he ain't forget what 50 did with that story, not even close. Then came Irv Gotti, man, a major piece in this whole twisted puzzle. This wasn't just some music industry buddy. Irv and Supreme, they were tight, like family. When Supreme was drowning in legal heat, Irv came through heavy, man. He funded the fight, stayed loyal, and never snitched or switched sides. That kind of ride or die loyalty, man, it meant everything to Supreme. But 50, man, he crushed everything Irv built. Everything. He tore through Irv's label, Murder Inc., left it in ruins, took down Ja Rule in the process, and left the whole crew scrambling in the dust. Even after Irv passed away, reportedly from a stroke, man, 50 still couldn't let it go. Still couldn't let it be. He jumped online, cold as ever, and posted a pic of himself chilling with a hookah next to a fake gravestone. The caption, "I'm smoking on Dad Gotti pack. Nay, God bless him, LOL." And before Irv was even confirmed gone, man, when the news of the stroke first hit, 50 slid in with this cold line. Damn, I wanted him to see my new shows. Yeah, man, that didn't sit well, not with Supreme's son. McGriff Jr. snapped, man, on Instagram. He went all the way in, posting, if I said I was smoking on your mother and your grandfather pack, ninjas would be telling me I'm wrong, right? He clowned 50, called him out as fake, and said, y'all really love this clown? Well, I'm always giving the same energy. To him, man, disrespecting Irv, that was the same as disrespecting his father. That line had been crossed, and now it was personal, real personal. That's when 50 started dropping breadcrumbs, man, all over the internet. Cryptic posts, snake emojis, talking about enemies in silence, moving in shadows. People started wondering, man, was this paranoia? Was 50 just tripping? Or was he onto something real, something dangerous? Then boom, man, info leaked. 50 allegedly exposed conversations between Jay Prince's crew and Supreme's son. Word is, man, there was talk of setting him up, pressuring him, maybe even worse. And 50? He didn't keep it quiet. No, man, he wanted it out there. He wanted everyone to see what he was dealing with. He was exposing it all. Rick Ross and 50 Cent, man, that beef runs deep. You already know. We're talking lawsuits, messy family drama, nonstop disses. These two, they've been at each other's necks for years. No love lost, no fake peace. They don't vibe, period. So when Ross was recently spotted chilling with people tied to Supreme's circle, that wasn't just a hangout, that was a statement, a clear, deliberate statement. To most folks, yeah, it might have looked random, but to 50, man, that looked like war. Straight up war. Ross was cozying up with the son of the man who allegedly tried to end 50's life. That ain't no coincidence, man, that's chess. And 50 saw it for what it was, a message, loud and clear. But hold up, man, this ain't just industry shade. Word on the street, man, that meetup had way more heat behind it, way more. Insiders are whispering, man, that it wasn't just about linking up for clout. Nah. Some say this was a move in a much bigger play, a setup in motion, allegedly. Supreme McGriff Jr. is done playing nice, man. He's fed up, especially after 50 kept trolling Irv Gotti online, even after the man passed away. Disrespect after death, man, that hit a nerve, a deep nerve. And now, with Jay Prince sliding into the picture too, everything just got 10 times more serious. Everything. See, this ain't just about 50 refusing to check in, man. Jay Prince reportedly wants to make an example out of him. Wants to make an example. If 50 gets away with clowning the street rules, man, what's to stop other rappers from doing the same? The whole check-in system, it starts to look weak. It starts to look like a joke. And Jay ain't having that, not one bit. And here's the part, man, that should really have 50 watching his back, seriously watching his back. Jay Prince ain't just some music mogul, you hear? This is a man with real street roots, real deep roots. We're talking deep connections, heavy ties that go way, way beyond rap. His name's been floating in federal files, man, since the late 80s. Back then, the whispers said he had roots, drug roots, from Mexico running straight through Texas, Louisiana, even Chicago, moving serious weight, man. Serious weight. This wasn't corner-level activity, man. This was global operations, organized, strategic, locked in. And guess what? Around that same era, Jay allegedly formed ties with Larry Hoover. Yeah, the founder of the Gangster Disciples. Once that bond was made, man, the pipeline from Houston to the Midwest was born, and Jay Prince was posted right at the center of it all. Then out of nowhere, man, Rap-A-Lot Records enters the frame. On the surface, yeah, it looked like a label, built to spotlight Houston talent. But if you've been tuned into the streets, man, you already know. Folks been whispering for years it was way more than just music, way more. The word, it was a front, a slick way to clean up dirty street money and flip it legit. And guess what? The feds weren't asleep at the wheel. By 1988, the DEA had eyes locked on Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot. They were all in, tracking shipments, tapping phones, flipping drivers, staking out spots, pressuring everybody in the circle. They weren't playing, man. They were building a serious case. It looked like the walls were closing in, man. It looked like it was over until boom, everything just disappeared, vanished. By the late 90s, the whole investigation vanished into thin air. The US Attorney General dropped the case. No charges, no court, no headlines, just straight up silence. Man, that don't happen by mistake. You don't make that kind of heat disappear without heavy influence, without real power. That's power, man, real power. Fast forward to now, and 50 Cent, man, 50 Cent might be poking the same bear. That's been running silent and strong for decades. The kind of bear that don't growl, it bites. So what do you think, man? What do you think? Is 50 just tripping? Is he paranoid? Or is he the only one bold enough, the only one strong enough to say out loud what everybody else is too scared to even whisper? Is there really a setup going down behind closed doors? Or is this just a battle of egos and empires? Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button if you're rocking with the story, man. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. And definitely share this with someone who needs the real tea. This saga, man, it's just getting started. And you already know, we'll be right here to break it all down. Catch you on the next one.